So in yesterday's class, we were contemplating upon this, how to balance, and also we have studied that the sickness is sustained and increased by constant dwelling mentally about the sickness. This is where we have to understand. This is very important to remember. The intensity of the sickness increases, and the sickness continues for a long time if you mentally dwell upon the sickness. If you mentally dwell on the sickness, that is what is important. Because disease is a certain type of situation, certain incident. But to overcome, to balance and to overcome, we have to train ourselves that our mind is not to be allowed to dwell on the disease, because that increases the strength of the disease. So it is possible to heal the sick person by changing the direction of the mind from the direction of the disease. But now, in the present modern medical field, it is exactly opposite. Because the doctor immediately implants the disease consciousness into the mind of the patient. Absolutely, is absolutely opposite what they are doing. We have practically seen in many cases, because we have, in our experience, since the time when Master physically he was himself training us, we have practically seen, for example, a cancer patient, just take an example. Until that time that the patient does not know he has cancer, then there is no advancement of the disease so easily. And it is possible for us to make the patient resistant, and it is quite possible to prevent from getting into such situation where the patient succumbs to this. But once you implant that the disease is cancer in the mind of the patient, so the deterioration is very fast. This we have seen, practically we have seen in many cases, a faster deterioration. Fear, because this fear of disease is because of so much of publicity about, so much of undue publicity is being made in the media about the disease. Instead of giving about health, they are giving more things about disease.
In Soviet Union it was forbidden to tell about cancer to the patient.
Yeah. In Soviet Union. That is good. That is good. But now it's the same. Yeah. So immediately the doctor will say, oh, you got cancer. So you have to undergo radiotherapy or chemotherapy and all these things. But once when you put this in the mind of the patient, then the mental strength is shattered up. So his will is disturbed. So then very easily, very quickly, his will is overpowered by the diseased condition, by the fear. That is the most important thing. So, your possibility to heal a patient depends upon this mental stamina, mental structure of the patient. So the mind should not be made to dwell on the disease. That is the first. That is what it is explained here. A constant consideration of any of the bodily functions leads to difficulty. This is another thing. For the modern medicine, it is not so easy to understand. Because it is going on the opposite side. A constant consideration of any of the bodily functions leads to difficulty. Suppose constantly you keep thinking of your heart. How is my heart? How is it? So like this, if you constantly do that, then this blocks the function because of fear. You see, when you read the basic book on homeopathic science, Organon by Hahnemann, there in the very beginning itself it is explained that when this same principle is explained, that when you are healthy, you are not reminded of any particular part of the body. When you are particularly reminded, when there is a blockage only. For example, when suddenly your attention is drawn to the heart, when you have some palpitation or some pain or something, when your attention is drawn towards your joints of the knees, of the legs, when you have any blockage, when you have any pain, when your attention is drawn towards the head, if you have a headache or a vertigo, you can. Otherwise, when you are normal, then you will experience the whole body as one unit, not at different things. Because the whole body is a synthetic unit. It is a synthesis, synthetic work, the whole constitution. And today in the medical field, you have all this so-called specialization. So the heart specialist will give a medicine which may disturb the function of another system. And then if you ask the specialist says, no, I am concerned only with your heart, about your heart. You have any problem, go to the corresponding doctor again. So for your one body, you have many doctors. You have a doctor for your heart, you have a doctor for your nerves, you have a doctor for your kidneys. So your body is divided into many parts, and each part is governed by a doctor, not by you. So that is what is happening now. It is ridiculous. It is exactly opposite of synthesis. So that is what is explained here. Chronic invalids are frequently so because of their preoccupation with the body over a long period of time. See, every sentence should be understood properly. Chronic invalids. There are some persons who are suffering with chronic problems and invalid certain functions. Why this situation happened for them is because for a longer period of time their attention is drawn and they are made to dwell upon this for a long time. That leads to this situation. That is what is it. Chronic invalids are frequently so because of their preoccupation with the body over a long period of time. A preoccupation. The whole day if you keep thinking of your body, then what happens? It is not healthy. If you want to be healthy, you have to do certain things what you have to do for the body, but not for the whole day. If the whole day I sit without doing anything, thinking, how is my heart, how is my lungs? You cannot do something if you just do that like that. What we have to do is we observe if there is something and then you try to find a method how to just, but not the whole day, always dwelling upon this. So that itself is a disease, you see. According to homeopathic science, if your mind is completely absorbed or not absorbed, is made to dwell upon your disease, this itself is a disease on the mental level. You see, this is the very basis of homeopathy. If you have a patient, he has some different sufferings, that is okay, but that is why in homeopathy you have to give importance to the feeling and the mental attitude of the person. Unless you know this, you cannot treat the person. The mental attitude, how the patient feels, what is the logic of the patient, how he feels, what are the distortions in the mental attitude, these are to be considered. Because the disease exists not in the physical body, that is the very fundamental aspect of teaching of homeopathy and Ayurveda also. Disease never exists in the tissues of the physical body. Disease exists in the mental plane. And from there, it brings obstruction and distortion in the functioning of the vital force. And this is manifested the result is manifested on the physical plane, on the body. So what you see as a suffering or a blockage, that is only the result manifested. That is not the disease. The result of the disease. So disease is on the higher plane, on the mental plane. So unless you understand this and you try to work out on the mental plane, without this, if you do something only on the physical plane, you cannot make any solution. That is what you see when you study homeopathy. And this distortion on the mental plane is exhibited in many, many different types. That is very well explained by Hahnemann in homeopathy. So if you want to cure a person, a patient, in the true sense, in a complete sense, you have to consider the mental plane. Distortions or blockages on the mental level. That energy follows thought only. A wrong thought, because your mind, the thinking phenomenon, thought phenomenon of the mind is distorted, then it leads to all this ill balance and disturbance. There are different types, suspicion and fear, anxiety, so many types of expressions. And depression, self-pity, these are all the things. So this makes different types of expressions and the distortion of the mind. Some people, now I can say many people, from my experience in this medical field from homeopathy, I can say not some people but many people in the present humanity, in the name of health consciousness, they are going into disease consciousness. That is because of the present medical science. The medical science is giving importance to disease consciousness, not to health consciousness. That's business oriented. All the products. That is why you have all these vaccinations and all these things, the so-called preventive. Yes. Recently we have vaccinations like to prevent uterine cancer. For the young girls, they are giving a new vaccination. It is ridiculous. All such things. When you give this vaccine, it is destroying the functioning of kidneys. This is already proved. This new vaccine, which is being given to young girls, now this vaccine came into India also. They are trying to push all the young girls to get this vaccinated, saying that very demonic. This vaccination to prevent uterine cancer. Ah yes, this new vaccine. Yeah, now it came into all countries. Around 12 years, just before menarche itself, when the girl is going to have menarche, before that they want to give this vaccine, telling that this is a preventive for uterine cancer. This is ridiculous. This has some, it's criminal. You know what they did when I was already in Switzerland. This was about 7 years ago or 8 years ago. Already in Switzerland when I was there, then it is happening there in Switzerland. And there, for these girls to make them accept this vaccine, because they want to test this vaccine on the girls. So for this, they have offered iPhones to the girls. Yeah, this is a fact in Switzerland. Yeah, in Switzerland. I was there at that time when this news came. They were testing. So when the girls have to accept this test, they have offered iPhones. For iPhone, the girls have signed and accepted this. And they have given this vaccine. And this vaccine has proved that it will destroy the function of kidneys at a very early age. And they said, of course, you have many methods to, when your kidneys are not functioning, you can undergo this dialysis and all these are there. Stupid explanation. So for the whole rest of the life, she has to undergo dialysis. How stupid it is. It's criminal. So this is what is happening. Yeah, but yes, this is a part of the decision taken by these top fellows of the pharmaceutical industry to reduce the population of the whole globe. You know this, that the top chiefs of the pharmaceutical industry, they had a meeting and they have taken a decision, and the chief of this said, when 7 billions are there on the planet, only 2 billion should be there, others should disappear. Now? 8. So he said, only 2 million should be there, others should disappear. So how can you make them disappear? By all such methods. These are the things. Everything. So many methods in our food and only 2 million should be there. He said, for a good living for ours, billion, sorry, so 2 billion. 2 billion. Only 2 billion are enough, all the others should disappear. 2,000 million, 2 billions. There are 8 billions now, so only 2. Yeah, so all should disappear. So for this, it is evident what is happening. Is it for health or for destruction? All such things. Yes. All the younger generation will be destroyed. All false diseases. There are no real diseases like something which they name. In India also. From time to time they say, oh, there is swine flu, there is no such disease. It is all false. And then they give all vaccinations and special medicines with high amount of money. This is what is happening. Yeah. Yes. And you know, they always they will make a lie also. Because you see, we know in our big corporate hospitals, when they made this publicity, now this swine flu is there. If anybody dies for any reason, they will bribe them and say, oh, this is the case of swine flu. So many people died. Yeah. Same with AIDS. Yeah. So this. Yeah, that's the only thing. No. When we know the fact, then we must be courageous to change our way of life. That's the only thing. When you know something truth, you should be courageous to change according to that truth. First yourself, and then tell this to others also, courageously. You need not be afraid to tell the truth. First we have to put ourselves to change ourselves. For example, one example I give you, Coca-Cola. So it is stupid to drink Coca-Cola because it is carbon dioxide. What is the carbonated? These are all carbonated drinks. It is very logical. We have to take oxygen, not carbon dioxide. But these drinks are carbonated drinks and acidic drinks. There is a simple test. Very simple test is, if you clean your toilets with Coca-Cola, it cleans much more cleaner than the acids. What does it mean? So, if your toilets are cleaned by Coca-Cola in a better manner than the acids, what happens to your stomach if you drink Coca-Cola? So, one example this is. All the aerated drinks, Pepsi and all the aerated drinks are the same. But why people are drinking? Because in the America they are drinking, so therefore they are also drinking. Yes. Whatever is done in America, that is all imitated by other countries. The people, yes, the common people of America may not know this, but this is the fellows who are ruling.
Out of my experience is that I saw the temperature is very low.
Yes.
It use everything what comes
From the government.
I didn't see this in Russia, I didn't see this in other countries, but in America.
In America, yes.
Everything in what is coming from.
Yes.
And they are receiving for their business.
They believe everything.
This is satanic. This is black magic.
They are not really so much educated. The common American people. First victims.
So don't copy this one out in the lifestyle what they have.
Yes.
Don't copy. They make a lot of propaganda.
Yeah.
But this is a very bad reason.
But now In India, the most unfortunate, everywhere you see the burgers and the McDonald's. Everywhere McDonald's is there in India. 5 years, 6 years ago, there was no McDonald's.
But now,
Everywhere in India.
this American,
Completely American influence.
and also in Moscow, you have Mr. Sami.
Oh, yes. Yes. So this is, if a person is preoccupied with their ailments, listen, this is another sentence. If a person is preoccupied with their ailments, their body consciousness steadily develops until it dominates their life. You see, this is also important sentence to remember. If a person is preoccupied with their ailments, so we have certain, everybody has certain problems. But if your mind dwells on this only, continuously, preoccupation of the mind with these things, this sentence I will write down. That is, because these are very important. If a person, oh, this is not writing properly. Oh yes, awful. Very. As far as possible, I try to carry my own food in the aircraft. I avoid what they give. It's nonsensical. Body consciousness steadily develops. ఈ పెన్స్ ఇంకా ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఇంకో పెన్ పట్టరా, అక్కడ పెట్టేచ్చారు. Steadily develops until it dominates their life. Body consciousness. His body consciousness. His body consciousness steadily develops until it dominates his life. If a person is preoccupied with his ailments, his body consciousness steadily develops until it dominates his life. Ailment is disease. Ailment is weak points, disease, discomfort, disease. So if all the time body consciousness Because what happens is, your mind is always drawn